What if I told you that becoming a millionaire is no longer a rare achievement? Not a billionaire, just a millionaire.
At first, that might sound impossible. After all, every day we hear stories about rising prices, expensive housing, growing debt, and families struggling to keep up. Millions of Americans worry about retirement. Millions worry about medical bills. Millions worry about whether they'll ever be able to buy a home. So, how can both things be true at the same time? How can America have more millionaires than ever before, while so many people still feel financially trapped? And perhaps the most important question of all, what do ordinary millionaires understand that most people don't? Because the answer has almost nothing to do with intelligence, and far less to do with luck than most people imagine. The truth is hidden inside a series of small decisions that most people make every single day without even thinking about them. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because this isn't just a story about money. It's a story about human behavior. It's a story about psychology. It's a story about why some people slowly build wealth while others spend decades running on a financial treadmill. And by the end of this documentary, you may discover that the biggest obstacle standing between most people and financial freedom isn't the economy. It isn't inflation. It isn't even income. It might be something much closer to home. So, let's begin. For decades, the word millionaire carried a certain image: a luxury mansion, a private jet, an exotic sports car parked in a long driveway, the kind of lifestyle most people only saw in movies. But here's where things get interesting. Most American millionaires don't look like millionaires. In fact, many of them drive ordinary cars. Many live in average neighborhoods. Some still shop at discount stores. Some clip coupons. Some wear the same watch they've owned for 10 years. And if they walked past you in a grocery store, you probably wouldn't notice them at all. Strange, isn't it? Because society often teaches us that wealth should be visible, yet real wealth is frequently invisible. The millionaire next door doesn't need to prove they're successful, because their bank account already knows. And that's where the first major lesson appears. Many people spend money trying to look rich. Many millionaires spend money trying to stay rich. Those are very different goals. Think about that for a moment. Would you rather look wealthy for 5 years, or actually be wealthy for the rest of your life? Most people know the correct answer, but their daily behavior often suggests something else. And that's exactly where psychology enters the story. Now let's talk about something almost everyone experiences: lifestyle inflation. Imagine you get a raise. You feel excited. You've worked hard. You deserve it. So naturally, you upgrade a few things: a nicer apartment, a newer car, better vacations, a few more subscriptions. Nothing extreme, nothing irresponsible, just a slightly better life. But then something strange happens. A year later, you don't feel richer. You feel normal again. And that's because humans adapt incredibly quickly. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. In simple terms, whatever once felt special eventually becomes ordinary. The car that excited you 6 months ago becomes your normal car. The bigger apartment becomes your normal apartment. The higher salary becomes your normal salary. And suddenly you're chasing the next upgrade. Then the next one. And the next one. Meanwhile, your expenses quietly grow alongside your income. Have you ever wondered why some people earning $250,000 a year still feel financially stressed? This is often the reason. Because wealth isn't determined by how much money comes in. It's determined by how much stays. And that's one of the most powerful financial lessons ever discovered. Most people assume millionaires earn extraordinary incomes. Some do, but many don't. The real difference often comes down to behavior. One person spends every raise, the other invests every raise. One person buys liabilities, the other buys assets. One person focuses on appearing successful, the other focuses on becoming successful. At first, the difference seems tiny, almost invisible. But here's the magic of compounding. Small decisions repeated consistently for years create massive outcomes. A single investment doesn't make someone wealthy. A single budget doesn't make someone wealthy. A single good decision doesn't make someone wealthy. But thousands of good decisions? That's a completely different story. And that's why wealth often looks boring in real time. There's no dramatic movie scene, no overnight transformation, no magical breakthrough, just consistency. Day after day, month after month, year after year. Which raises an uncomfortable question. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, can patience actually become a competitive advantage? Because history suggests the answer is yes. Now let's make this personal. Imagine two Americans, one lives in Ohio, the other lives in Texas. Neither started rich, neither won the lottery, neither became famous. Both worked ordinary jobs. The first person spent most of what they earned. The second person invested a portion of every paycheck. At first, their lives looked almost identical. Same salary, same opportunities, same struggles. Nothing dramatic happened in the first year, or the second, or even the fifth. But 10 years later, something changed. One person felt trapped by bills, rising expenses, and financial anxiety. The other began experiencing something many Americans dream about. Options. The option to change jobs. The option to take risks. The option to spend time with family. The option to say no. And perhaps that's the true value of wealth. Not luxury, not status, not showing off. Freedom. Think about it. If money disappeared tomorrow, what would matter most? The expensive car or the freedom to make decisions without fear? Because that's what many people misunderstand. Wealth isn't about buying more things. It's about buying more choices, and choices can change lives. But here's where things become emotional. Millions of Americans are working harder than ever before, yet many feel further behind. Why? Because costs are rising. Housing is expensive, healthcare is expensive, education is expensive, and financial stress has become normal. Yet the people who consistently build wealth often focus on one thing others ignore. They focus on ownership, owning investments, owning businesses, owning assets. Instead of simply earning money, they make money work for them. And that shift in thinking can completely transform a person's future. Now let's talk about the future, because the world is changing faster than ever. Artificial intelligence is transforming industries. Automation is changing jobs. Entire careers are evolving before our eyes. And for many people, that's frightening. But every major technological shift in history created two groups: those who resisted change and those who adapted to it. The same thing happened during the Industrial Revolution. The same thing happened during the internet boom. And now it's happening again. So here's a question. Do you think the next generation of millionaires will build wealth the same way previous generations did? Probably not. Some will use AI, some will build online businesses, some will create digital products, some will invest in technologies that don't even exist today. But despite all these changes, one thing remains surprisingly constant: human behavior, fear, greed, patience, discipline, opportunity. These forces have shaped financial markets for centuries, and they'll continue shaping them long into the future. Technology changes. Human psychology rarely does. That's why understanding money isn't enough. You must also understand people. Because markets are ultimately driven by people. Investments are driven by people. Businesses are built by people. And fortunes are created by people. The tools may change, but the principles remain timeless. Long-term thinking, consistency, ownership, and patience. Which leads us to one final lesson. Perhaps the biggest myth about wealth is that it belongs to a different kind of person. A smarter person, a luckier person, a more talented person. But the more you study wealth, the more you realize something unexpected. Most millionaires are not superheroes. They are ordinary people who made extraordinary decisions consistently. Not once, not twice, but thousands of times. And maybe that's the most hopeful lesson in this entire story. Because if wealth were based only on luck, there would be little anyone could do. But if wealth is influenced by habits, by patience, by discipline, and by long-term thinking, then the future is not predetermined. It's built. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, 1 year at a time. So the next time you hear the word millionaire, don't picture a mansion. Don't picture a yacht. Don't picture a private jet. Picture a person quietly making good decisions while nobody is watching. Because wealth is rarely built in moments of excitement. It's built in moments of consistency. And that leaves us with one final question. 10 years from now, will the financial decisions you're making today move you closer to freedom or further away from it? Because the answer to that question may ultimately determine far more than your bank account. It may determine the life you get to live,